It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. I don't know why it feels like we haven't filmed in a while. Just busy week, I think. Big yawn.
Sorry. Yeah, it kind of has. What did we do last week?
I couldn't even tell you. Week? Life has been a blur since coming back from vacation. I can tell you that much. I feel like every day I'm just fighting to be productive.
Really?
I'm still on a beach.
Vacation Kendall?
For sure.
I'm vacation Kendall.
One thing I wanted to laugh about, because I do remember last week's episode, we did the things we love and hate trend. Mm-hmm. So many people were coming to the defense line for conventional deadlifts. And I just want to say,
I figured that would happen.
I was like, we're not saying you shouldn't do them. There is a gnat. Okay, we got it. Yeah. I was scared it was going to land in your eye.
It's so annoying. They're everywhere in my house. And this was the exact thing that happened this time last year when I first moved in. Mm-hmm. And I did all of the things. I have the little traps and stuff. And then all of a sudden they were just gone. It was a certain month.
That even happens to me. And I don't have a door or window that can really open on the first floor. So they're coming in through the balcony, which is a little annoying. It's frustrating. Anyway, I just wanted to say we don't hate conventional deadlifts. We just don't do them.
We just don't we hate them for ourselves.
I think I would do them if I was good at doing them. Yeah. But I'm not. If anything, I'm jealous.
Yes. It's also you know what kind of reminds me of this? It's and this might make people upset too, but what I think her name, or Kelly, remember, Kelly. Uh-huh. Kelly Matthews. Yeah. So she made this post, and it's a clip of her doing Pilates. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
I did see it.
And at first, it could be a very triggering post if you're just looking at the caption. Yeah. Because it seems like she's knocking hot Pilates is a crappy workout. Yeah. But knowing her, I was I love her mindset about training and certain things, about using it for performance and stuff. Because for a lot of what we do, sometimes it's just for aesthetics. The majority
most of the time
it's for aesthetics.
I'm these muscles, useless. Yeah, they look good.
That's what I tell people. I'm they're pretty, but that's about it. Especially you catch me a couple weeks out, I'm useless. Yep. I look good, but I'm useless. So I read it a little bit further, and what she was saying, honestly, you know what? I'm going to screw it up. Let me just look at it.
Okay. I read it too, but I also don't want to paraphrase.
Yeah.
But she was showing hot Pilates is hard. Outdoor training in the sun is hard, but one of these is furthering my speed and athleticism.
She put hot Pilates is hard, period. And she goes, sprinting and jumping in Texas heat is better or something, or better for me. But she explains that she's a lot of things can be challenging, but not all of them will move you closer to your goals. For me, Pilates just isn't the kind of workout that delivers me the results I'm looking for in the areas that matter most to me.
Makes sense.
And I think, and she says her point is, if you're going to invest your time and energy into a workout, make sure it's either something you genuinely enjoy, something that brings you closer to your goals, or ideally both. And I think that is very similar with bodybuilding and the deadlifts thing, that it's
if you're a power lifter, go for it.
You know what I mean? Yep. Deadlifts are amazing and incredible, but for my specific goal, the way that I like to move my body, what the judges want to see and stuff like that, no.
Yeah.
No.
We're making it worse, I fear. Just do your deadlifts if you want to do your deadlifts.
Do whatever you want. I don't care.
Anyway, today we are answering some of y'all's questions. We haven't done these in a minute. The first one, just to jump right into it, is Dear Julia and Kendall, I hope you're both doing well. And I just want to say that your podcast genuinely helps me get through every cardio session. Truly a lifesaver. First off, I just want to say off the bat, because I have the YouTubers and podcasters I listen to, and we've said this before, but I can't fathom that the excitement I get when I get on cardio and I'm I get to listen to my podcast. I get to listen to
that for somebody.
I'm that's crazy.
Crazy.
That's nuts. Anyway, so thank you. And I love you. I recently started my first figure competition prep, and I have 2 questions I'd love your thoughts on. My coach and I chose a show in October, so I started doing some research and saw that the only offer They only offer one tanning session on the day of the competition, not the day before. That kind of stressed me out since I keep hearing you usually need at least 2 coats. I also can't find any info on what product they're using, and I really don't want to be an orange undertone. Not sure if I'm overthinking it or if I should be looking into other options. My other question, let's save other question. Let's answer this one first. This one sounds odd to me because I don't think I've ever been to a show where they don't at least offer 2 coats or offer a night before tan. Have you?
Yeah, no.
I think my assumption and what I would do if I was in her shoes, my assumption is that it's kind of like we are already doing day before. Do you want a second coat day of, you know?
I'm thinking it's that, or I'm like, are they just like doing all of them at one time?
Maybe.
Because like the reason that they do, like usually they do the first coat the night before and they'll kind of like leave out your hands and like leave out your feet. Some companies do it differently.
Yeah.
And then the second time in the morning before you start doing like your hair and your makeup and stuff, that's usually when you get that second one and it's like even darker.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like, are they just doing, is it such a big show that they're kind of just doing them all in one spot?
That's a good point. Because like save time.
You could do it. Maybe it doesn't work as well as it would if you let it dry like overnight and then put a coat like on top. Like that's going to be even better working wise.
Yeah.
But you could get a coat. They stand you're naked in like a dryer, and they have fans blowing on you, and then they could probably just do the second one.
I think my least favorite part of competing.
Yeah, I hate it.
The drying of the tan, and you're naked and afraid.
You're naked. It's an episode of Naked and Afraid.
That's how I feel. Sorry. And fear.
Most of the time too, like your tanning appointments are also with the girls that you're competing against.
Yeah.
So the first time,
so you're trying not to look at them.
Them is like, hey.
Yeah. The other thing I would maybe consider is like, of course, when you go for athletes meeting or when you check in or whenever your first instance is with people working the show, try to ask them just to verify, or if there's like an email or a number, like try to get this piece of information, because if you are someone who wants 2 coats, like they should at least offer that.
Sometimes they do up to 3 depending on like how, if you're somebody like me, they were like, don't get 3.
and for like, me, they were like, get 3.
Because what they're trying to do is make everybody look around the same color.
Yeah.
And this is why, like, I don't really recommend that people go outside and get like a tan. Like,
that's what I was going to say.
If you go to like a Palm Beach tan and you get a spray tan, it's not the same thing.
At all.
It's not the same thing. No matter how many coats that you get, it's most likely going to get orange unless you're bringing in like a company from the outside, which I've seen a lot of like Olympians that will do. They'll like have Pro Tan come to their like hotel.
That makes sense.
Unless you're doing something like that that's bodybuilding specific, it's not going to be the same. You're going to stand out in a bad way.
So that's what I was going to say. Like at the end of the day, just do the session they're offering. And I would still go with the tan that they're offering, because even if it is an orangey undertone, everyone else will be orangey undertone.
Exactly.
You don't want to be green.
Yes.
While everyone else is orange.
Exactly. And I think that is different from company to company. Like I hated liquid sun rays, the way that it looked on my body. I love Pro Tan always. It's always it's almost always everybody's favorite, but there's a bunch of them. And each one will have like kind of a different undertone.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like just stick with what the crowd is doing. I would still try to ask ahead of time, but on the same note, it's like if everyone else at this show is only getting 1 coat, do you want to be the only one with 2? I feel like every time we do talk about anything on show day, it's like you don't want to stand out in a bad way. True. So just see what everyone else is doing. It also doesn't hurt to like talk to other competitors while you're there. Be like, hey, are you guys getting only the 1 coat? Like, try to gauge it. Did she say that
it was the morning of? There's only one that she saw the morning of?
Yeah. What?
I'm just like trying to like figure it. I'm like trying to solve this problem, and I don't have enough information.
I think you're right. It's either a really big show or a really small show.
Or they're just like, we're slapping
or they
them
don't care. Yeah. Okay. My other question, I have a refeed every Sunday and I look forward to it all week, but then once it's here, I kind of don't want it, ? I feel like I'm making progress with cutting and don't want to mess that up. even though I logically know that the weight bump is just water and that the refeed is helpful, I still do it. But I was wondering, is it a normal feeling, or is it problematic even if I don't entertain it by skipping the refeed? Thank you so much. Such a fan and supportive of this journey. From Netherlands.
Yay!
That's sick.
Netherlands.
Honestly, all of these included, or most of them included where they're from. And this is an international questions episode.
Yes.
Okay, I get this way. I got this way immediately when I started prep this year, where I'm someone who enjoys my cheat meal or my refeed meal. Let me tell you, I love a sweet treat. I look forward to it. I like to plan ahead. And yet this entire prep, I've had this same exact thought process where I'm almost battling myself to have any sort of cravings outside of my prep food. That Saturday night will come and I'll be in the store or I'll go to the restaurant and I'm like, I literally don't want this right now because one, I feel so good on the meal plan I'm having. Mm-hmm. It's not even a fear of messing things up because I understand physically the benefits of refeeds. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of the I genuinely get the ick around different food. Do you get that way?
I'm the opposite.
Okay.
Mine is do not give me a refeed because I will go crazy.
That's how I feel I typically was. Yeah. But this year, I think I'm on the same boat as this listener where I'm loving my progress and I feel good eating the foods I'm eating. I think it's different once I'm at that certain stage where it's I barely have carbs now. So of course I want the carbs if I'm giving carbs. Yeah. But right now, my food is still high-ish. So it's I don't feel the need to go even higher. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that you feeling this way is actually completely normal. Yeah. Because in your mind, you're but if I'm making such good progress, why would I want to stop now? Because it could be one of those things where you're thinking that by me doing this, it's pushing me backwards, but your coach is doing it for a very specific reason. Mm-hmm. So if you think about in bodybuilding prep, for the majority of that time, you're depleting yourself. And most of the time, your calories are slowly getting cut, your carbs are going away, your fats are going away. Typically, your protein stays relatively high. Mm-hmm. But while you're doing that, that's why you start looking kind of skinny and a little thickly. Mm-hmm. And your muscles you might feel small and tiny because you are depleting your glycogen stores because you don't have enough glycogen from carbohydrates at all. So this refeed, if you think about it, it's you are super low in calories all week. Low, you're chipping away. And then by your coach giving you that little refeed, you get a boost. Mm-hmm. And maybe your weight goes up from water retention and because you physically have more food in your body than you have other days. Thinking about say 1,500 calories and how that feels in your body all week versus 2,000 calorie refeed day. You're going to weigh a little more. There's 500 extra calories in your body. For sure. But it can actually have a positive effect to where it could be used so that you don't lose weight too quickly. True. It could be also used as a form for you to lose more weight because sometimes what happens is when you're super low and you're depleted, you have that bump of food, your metabolism is revved up, you have strength in the gym again. Mm-hmm. And what you will see is even with most people, if it's done correctly, your weight shouldn't really change at all. Or you even drop weight, which is a good sign. So,
I usually drop after refeeds, which I think is always proof to myself of okay, I guess these are doing their job.
Exactly. So.
My tip for this person is and talk to your coach about it too. If they're giving you specific carbs to stay within or more of a carb cycling type of refeed, it doesn't hurt to have just more of your prep food. Whereas sometimes on my quote unquote refeed meal, I'll just have oats, just have more rice with my dinner, if that makes sense.
And then that can be a balance of I'm still eating my prep meal plan, but I'm not going overboard with having a burger and fries or whatever.
Yeah, something that makes you physically feel icky the next day. Not mentally, but sometimes I'll have food that isn't in my plan, and just because I am a reactive gut girly, that might mess me up for several days instead of having food I know I digest well and already have in my plan, and just having more volume of that is sometimes easier for me.
This is just the crazy thing about bodybuilding. And I love talking to other bodybuilders about their cut process and like what works best for their body, because it is literally so different from person to person.
Yeah.
Like I love hearing where people like hold their fat the most. Where's the last place to go? Like, for example, my coach that I'm training with, like he's my trainer that I train with every week, Marlon. Yeah. He's a bodybuilder as well. And he's a bodybuilding coach. And he was like telling me that he has to struggle during prep to like maintain his muscle. And so he'll have to like give constant like refeeds and try not to lose weight too quickly. Cause he's like, if I do, like I will look so small on stage. And for me, like it's kind of the opposite where I can get refeeds barely. And usually it's just because coach is testing out a peak week plan for me. You know what I mean?
It's not even like for your own.
No. And I'm like, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I have to be on point. Like that's just, I have high amounts of cardio, low calories. And that's just what
I am always so fascinated
by
I
hold on to muscle like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So.
I'm so fascinated by men's programs because I feel like they vary from like what female bodybuilders have to go through so much. So I'm the same way where I also love hearing where people lose it the last, because like even my brother's cutting really aggressively, as you know right now, and it's like even we have the same genetic makeup and we are so different. Like his legs super lean, super fast, and I'm like, couldn't be me.
I literally yesterday was doing like a little check-in video for me, and I'm just like, I have so many lines in my legs right now and my upper body. And then it's just like the trunk area where I'm like,
exact opposite.
I have little like, it doesn't bother me anymore because like now I know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what, when you do it for a while, you're like, I know that this is going to come off, but it's just going to be at the last minute. So I'm like over here with, basically I have the entire glute diamond, but I have little back rolls, like, and I'm just like giggling at myself because I'm like, yeah, I know.
I do feel like it makes it easier every time you compete because you start to like understand it more.
You just get sick of yourself enough that you're like, shut up.
Okay.
What's this next one?
This next one, I'll let you read it if you want, or I can.
I gotcha.
But this one is more of like a confession / need advice on, than it is like a bodybuilding question.
Okay. Hi, Kendall and Julia. First off, big love to both of you, all the way from Australia. What?
Told you we're worldwide.
We are worldwide. So much pressure. I listen every week and love what you girls do. I have a gym conflection. I have a gym confession / ick in need of some advice. So about 7 months ago, I love when people tell me their icks. 7 months ago, I found a PT to help with my strength training to complement my rehab after a serious hip injury. Things are going really well, and I look forward to my training sessions every week. The gym is super nice, welcoming, and quiet, and I have never had any issues, except there's this one guy that always seems to be there when I am. I'm talking midday on a Wednesday. Oh, that's crazy. Thursday afternoon, Saturday mornings, you name it.
This always blows my mind because there's always at least one or two people
that you're convinced lives at the gym.
Because I'll go like, my schedule, sometimes they're at 9 p.m., sometimes like 3 p.m., and they're there. And I'm like, do you not leave? Sleep there. That's how I feel.
I think that every gym has like certain characters. There's the one person that lives there, sleeps there, they're always there. There's that really hyper one that says hi and is friends to everybody. Those are the only two I can think of right now. But there's more. A couple times now when I come to the gym, I see him talking to my coach. So I assume they are good buddies. I often catch him staring at me through gym sessions, and I mean not just a glance, I mean like fully facing me and staring at me for long periods of time. Even when I make eye contact to get him to break it, he just keeps,
She even tried our tactic.
Yeah, she even tried it. He just keeps staring at me. A couple of times he's followed me on IG and requested to follow me, but I've declined 4 times. A few times he has even moved and set up right next to me when I'm at the gym, and it's practically empty. I now find myself trying to cover up and wear track pants and long sleeves, but I get hot and uncomfortable. I have caught him texting my coach's phone during our sessions and telling him to look at his phone and laughing and looking at me. I can't help but feel like he's texting my coach about me when I'm right there. and paying for my coach's time. So yeah, this is bothering me and I have no idea how to handle this. I feel like this is the one onus.
I don't know what that means.
The onus?
I'm going to Google it.
Is not on me to, it should be a typo, not on me to confront. Yeah, it's not on me to confront him. I didn't ask.
Used to refer to something that is one's duty or responsibility.
It is a word.
New
I feel
vocab.
like the onus, I'm probably saying it, onus,
I don't know.
is not on me to confront him. As I didn't ask for this kind of attention. I really love training at the gym and don't want to have to get to trouble. Have to go to the trouble of finding a new coach and a gym. Any advice would be amazing. I tried to keep this short. Sorry, Kendall. It's okay. Kendall didn't get it. It's me.
I love when people apologize. Okay, this one's crazy because in my head, when I was like reading and picking this one out for the episode, I was like, not only is it like dealing with like someone making you uncomfortable, which like you could confront, you could tell people about, but like her only safe haven at this gym seems to be friends with the guy.
I know.
So I'm like conflicted.
The thing that pissed me off was the text.
Exactly. Like that brings me back to like middle school for some reason, where I'm definitely a little triggered for her. First off, you are super valid to feel this way. Yeah. I feel like the few times I've experienced this type of energy or people in the gym that make you feel uncomfortable, like it's such an uneasy feeling because this should be a safe space. And especially she's like working out with a trainer and he seems to be involved. Like
if she seems to feel very comfortable with the coach that she is training with, I would be like, what's up with this guy?
Yeah.
Honestly, like what is up with this guy? Because I really enjoy training with you and I love this gym and I feel very comfortable. But I was like, these things are concerning to me and I don't want to have to leave. But if it continues, like I will leave.
Agreed. And if he's also, first off, even a decent person, but also like obviously cares about your business, like he's not going to, like he should put his foot down for you and stand up for you in that moment as well. Because like if I had a client and I was training them at a gym and anyone made them uncomfortable, I would be so quick to the defense line. It's not even funny. Or exactly like I wish we knew if she has told him or asked him about him, because I'm like, maybe they're not buddy. Maybe that guy's just weird to everyone and your coach is also roped into that.
I'm also wondering, like, is this other guy like a trainer as well, and that's why he's there all the time? Does he work for the coach or work under the coach? Or are they like little like kiki bros that are like, hey,
I feel like
she's
either
hot.
way,
like I'm like if we do go to the route, because of that they're like, they genuinely are texting about her, because I totally understand why she would feel that way, because it could be happening. It could definitely be happening. But is it like a, she's hot, like, hey, can you tell her to like follow me back on Instagram?
That too, requesting 4 times.
That's not
once, whatever, twice, it's like, oh, they probably thought I didn't see it. 4 times is crazy.
It's psychotic.
That's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, this is psycho behavior.
I would block them personally.
Yes, I don't like him.
I hate that this happens to anyone at all. And I know it's scary to try to stand up for yourself. I do retract my initial statement. I don't think you need to run from the situation. I think try to face it head on. Like talk to your coach, talk to other people at the gym.
Coach.
Yeah, like try to talk to someone first. If you don't like their response, you owe these people nothing and take your business elsewhere. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I would definitely talk to the coach first, because there have been some like moments where I have been training with a coach, but I felt very comfortable with them. And like I was just talking about Marlon, but every year I have a new trainer that I work with once a week to just like help me with those hard times in prep where I don't really want to push myself and I need to be forced to. And there have been, the relationship that I've been able to build with that person is like, I trust them, like I respect them, they respect me. And I feel like if you feel that way about your coach, then having that conversation with him should go off well. And if it doesn't and you're dismissed, that is your sign.
Yep.
Then you can remove yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good plan. Keep us updated.
Yeah, for real.
If you need Julia and I to pull up to
drop
this
a
gym,
pin.
She's in Australia, but we'll go.
Drop a pin. I'll go international.
That bothers me so much for her. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that. Okay, next one is hello from Wisconsin. Again, worldwide. More local, I guess.
Kendall. We go from the Netherlands to Austria to Wisconsin.
Stop hating on Wisconsin.
No, I don't know. I love Wisconsin.
I actually think it's so cute that everyone added where they're from, though.
I love too.
that.
Like, I really enjoy knowing, because in my head, the only people that listen are like my mom.
It's our moms going back and forth with different places.
I know. They make different profiles to make us feel special.
Imagine. Have you ever seen The Truman Show?
Yes.
Okay, same energy, where it's Truman like our whole career is
It's a
fake.
lie. It's all a lie. No one cares.
That's so funny. The bodybuilding shows are fake. We hire an audience.
We hired an audience.
Okay, sorry. Hello from Wisconsin. I was curious if either of you have experience or knowledge about being on birth control and gaining muscle / losing fat, or just its relation to bodybuilding in general. The research I found on its benefits or risks while strength training are mixed. She then has a completely secondary question.
Let's do the first one.
Agreed. We've both had experience with training and prepping while on birth control and while off. I think overall statement is like, it depends what birth control you're on, first and foremost. Okay. I've done preps on birth control before coming off and doing preps without it. I'm now on it again. Okay. It's one of those things where like, if and when I can come off or switch to a non-hormonal, I would love to.
She's been trying to do this for like 2 years.
I literally haven't even started talking about the process because IUDs scare me. I don't know why.
I mean, I get why.
Okay.
They like.
Thanks for validating me.
It's so weird.
IUDs scare me. I think if you can be on a non-hormonal or be off of it, I do think like obviously having any sort of like outside effect on your hormones. Yeah, like it's never going to be a good thing. Yeah. Though there are definitely birth controls that are very like low dosage or are not as influential on your cycle as others. So I think like that's the biggest thing to tackle is like, how do you currently feel on yours? Are you having weight fluctuations? Are you having symptoms? Like then for sure look into like its effects on you and your progress versus like, I feel like when you were on it, you felt great.
Yeah, I felt great. And like, this is just going to come from like my personal story because obviously like we're not doctors or anything like that, but like with our experience in bodybuilding specifically. Yeah. But the frustrating thing about birth control is that they're like handing it out like it's candy to every woman.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like even when I got off of my birth control and got an IUD, I started like talking to my coach about why I even got on it like in the first place. And like eventually I was probably going to, but I remember I had this really sharp pain in my like lower abdomen, and I trained a lot during that time because it was in high school. So sometimes I was doing cross country, wrestling practice, a second wrestling practice afterwards. And then I was just having that continuous pain. So my mom took me to get it checked out. I even got a scan. There was nothing there. And so we didn't know what it was. And so they just gave me birth control and told me that that was what was going to fix it.
Similar for me. I was 12, which is so young.
Yes. So and that's the first problem is that it's just being handed out like candy and used as a Band-Aid for other things.
Yeah. That's how it was annoying. For me.
Yeah. So that's where it started. And I was on it for years. And I actually did my first 2 shows. I won my first 2 shows on it, the pill, and got my IFBB, did 2 national shows on it, got my IFBB pro card on it. And then when I was prepping for my pro debut, it was a very challenging prep because Zach was coaching me at the time and my body was stalling so hard, and it was affecting our relationship because it was hard to like balance all of the things. Sure. And that's when I found Coach Johnny, and I've been with him ever since. So that was in 2022. And it was so quick. The transition, he had 6 weeks to get me ready. And he's like, I don't normally do this, but like, I believe in you so much and we'll do the best that we can. So everything happened so fast, and I competed. I didn't have the best physique that I could, but you know, it's fine. And then I go into my off season, and you know, we are able to actually sit down and like dive into my blood work and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And you know, I like mentioned off the cuff that I'm on birth control. And he goes, what?
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I've been on it like forever. And he's like, Julia, this is why. Again, this is just me and my coach personally.
And I remember I feel like I was on the preaching side of you should get off of it too, because I do agree. Like I've done preps on it and off it, and all of my preps have been wildly different anyway. But when I was off of it, it was definitely like a little bit easier to lose body fat. That was the leanest I've ever been, at least. So I feel like once you get down into that like really nitty gritty part of prep, it can be beneficial to, again, not have any outside influence on your hormones.
Exactly. And so that started like a whole process of I like weaned off the pill and then in time to schedule a non-hormonal copper IUD instead. And then I got on that and I was thinking that everything's going to be fine. Like I'm going to go back to normal. I'm going to be able to like thinking that it's going to be solved fast. But I was on a pill for such a long time and I can't expect my body to like switch back and just regulate itself. Yeah. For me, it took anywhere between 4 and 6 months to start feeling normal. I didn't have any like big weight fluctuations, but it was very hard to lose weight during that time period where my body was going through a lot. So then we decided to that's when I took those 2 years off to like stop competing, give myself a diet break, get my body used to not being on a pill, now on a copper non-hormonal IUD. And I came back and had the best season that I've ever had, been the leanest that I ever had. Yeah. That's from a number of different factors. I think it's the birth control and changing it. It's definitely getting myself a diet break. It was like my mental health. It was all of the things. Yeah. Getting like pristine blood work and then starting. So that's just my story with it.
Yeah. I feel like it is just a piece of the puzzle. And if you're doing everything, like a lot of people write us in and they're like, I've been doing everything perfect and I don't know what it is. It's like, it is likely hormonal based, whether that's you're on birth control or like other factors or other things you've been taking for a really long time, like have a hold on our body a little bit. Where I'm the same way. When I came off, it took me a while to regulate. And I think that's the only reason I'm still on it for this prep. If I had planned ahead of time of like, I'm going to prep next year, I might have debated coming off sooner. But there is that like grace period of like, it depends what your goals are and when you want to hit them. And it's bodybuilding is the long game anyway. So like as someone who's a pro, knowing you're going to continue competing, it makes total sense to take the time to let your body like come off and reset, you know?
So that is at least my recommendation to people is like, if we're not telling everyone to get off birth control or anything, but like with whatever decision that you make, like give your body grace to like adjust. Yeah. Because a lot of us were put on it like so young without being educated, not knowing why.
I felt so good when I came off in general. I didn't come off for prep reasons. I came off because I was on it for so many years. And I was honestly like one of the doctors I saw, which like questionable practice, because I think I was 17 or 16 when she said this to me, said that like for how young I was put on it, it could cause infertility someday. And I'm like, okay, crazy thing to say to a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But that definitely got in my head. So I was like, let's give my body a break. And I came off for several years and I only came back on again to solve another like blanket issue, which was like, I was definitely having really bad, like hemorrhaging cyst symptoms again, and then also like bad acne again. So again, they just threw another pill at me and I took it. So yeah, I would love to come back off someday because it just honestly feels good when your body's doing its own thing.
Yeah. Well, once you're ready, I love the copper IUD, man.
Of
course, like the process is scary, like it's a little uncomfortable. But whew,
yeah, now you don't have to think about taking a pill every day.
Smooth.
I feel like that is nice.
I'm so regimented with my pills, it wouldn't even be a problem.
That's the part I stress about now with my birth control. If I'm like a few hours late, I'm like, oh, I get mad at myself. Okay, second part of her question was, do you ladies train abs/core? I've seen mixed things online about training core and if it's truly necessary or not specifically for bodybuilding training. My boyfriend says don't do it because you don't want to do anything to make your waist grow. And that makes sense in theory, but not sure if it's true. It's being utilized in other lifts, and he says that is enough to keep the muscle trained. Thanks so much and have an amazing day. We did a whole episode.
I was about to go, your boyfriend's an idiot.
Should we keep that in?
He's not an idiot. He's not an idiot, like whatsoever.
I understand where he's coming from.
He did say something that we said last week. Remember about like he's not an idiot. I'm sorry. But he's right where you are using your abs in a lot of different exercises.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like more stuff like where you are standing and you have to I have an ab workout when I do standing dumbbell raises.
Yeah.
Because I'm bracing my core, I am pushing up, and but for bodybuilding specific, I understand it is very like aesthetics. So one thing that I switched with my abs is that I don't stop doing it. I just switch the kind of workouts that I'm doing. So I don't do really any weighted stuff anymore.
That's what I was going to say. The only place I agree with what your boyfriend was really saying was like when you're doing weighted abs. Yes. Because weighted abs, of course, like doing weight training on any other muscle is going to grow it and make the muscle fibers thicker. Doing planks, doing leg raises, like any of that is not going to make your waist just like thick.
Exactly. So I like, for example, things that are more ab workout related and they're weighted would be like cable crunches. What are those other ones that you do with the plate that you said that you were doing
like
a lot
the
of?
Russian twist, or like the side oblique crunches
and stuff like that. Now I've switched to doing vacuums and doing like 3 sets of 30-second holds to like start, and then I'm adding like from there. We'll post a video of some vacuums, but it's just like deep inner core work. And if you can hold a vacuum, there's no reason you can't hold your waist on stage.
True. That's just good practice,
it's
period.
Crazy. And I'll do like lying leg lifts. I'll do like toe taps, like things that are more so just body weight. And in my head, I'm like, I'm doing sculpting ab workouts rather than like muscle building ab workouts.
Yeah, because I think you shouldn't. It depends on your goals, but if we're talking about bodybuilding and most divisions, like you still want to have ab definition. The only division not is the fit model division. But even then they want obliques, right? Yeah. So that's still ab development. And like, I feel like you can't get like that adequate like 6-pack abs or those like deep lines without training them at all. Sure. So I agree. I like to do a lot of deep core work with a lot of planks and hollow holds and vacuums, anything in that realm. And then I like to do like pretty high rep circuits where I'll do the tuck ups, leg raises, toe touch, Russian twist, like all body weight, that's all maybe for like a full 30 seconds each, like trying to just burn them out. Where I don't do them super frequently now because I was a gymnast when I was really young and we trained abs for hours, like hours and hours a week. So thankfully, thanks to younger Kendall, I have decent like ab fundamentals now because of that. So I've spent my whole adulthood just kind of maintaining that. So I'll touch on them like once, twice a week. I don't train them every single day, but for a lot of my clients who haven't been doing ab work that come to me, I'll throw it in there like 3 or 4 times a week, at least to get them like started and used to that feeling so that they're not super sore doing abs anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did some ab work when I was younger, not so much with wrestling to where like, it's just, everybody has such different ab shapes. Like if you just look at bodybuilders on stage, like even we see this with the wellness girls, like where we can look at their waists and like we see someone like Francielle who like, she doesn't have like block muscle abs. Hers are more, it's more just like flat. Yep. You can see that she has obliques, but you can't say super defined like blocks versus someone like Rayanne where she has like the blocks muscles coming out. And
I bet you she was a gymnast. She has a gymnast build.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone's physique is just different, but yeah, definitely.
So I would say still train them, just don't do a ton of weighted abs.
Yeah.
Is my tip. Last one.
Hey there, sweeties. First of all, I want to thank you for your incredible content. As a bodybuilding enthusiast, currently deep in my first bikini prep, your videos have been very valuable resource and a source of inspiration during this intense and exciting journey. I have a question I'd love for you to address in your Q&A as it's something I've been struggling with, and I think it might resonate with others too. I'm 5 weeks out from my first bikini show, and while I'm absolutely obsessed with the process, even though it's tough, I'm finding it emotionally challenging to handle my family's concerns. Ooh, this is a good one. I remember this one. I'm 30 years old, so I have full autonomy over my life. Thank you for letting us know that. Yeah. But that doesn't stop them from worrying, and they've expressed a lot of fears about my health. They comment on how skinny I'm getting, the amount of cardio I do, the small portions of food I'm eating. They've even brought up concerns about hormones and the shadier side of the sport, which makes me feel judged. Even though I've tried to explain that I'm under the guidance of a knowledgeable coach, I shared how I'm tracking progress, learning about my body, enjoying the changes, but it doesn't seem to put their mind at ease. It's hard because while I wish I had their support, I feel like they think I'm harming myself. I don't really have any friends who understand the journey either, so it's been isolating. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How do you handle any concerns from your own family during prep? Did they eventually understand and support your goals, or did it take time? Any advice on how to communicate better with loved ones who just don't get bodybuilding? This would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for taking the time to read my question. Keep doing what you're doing. It's making a huge difference for so many of us in the bodybuilding community.
Aww. This one makes me sad because I feel like we've both dealt with this, where people who don't understand the sport, or maybe they do and they had a bad experience. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just sat on my hand. My butt's just too big.
Too jacked.
Too big.
We've both dealt with people just like sharing either concern, not fully understanding what they're doing. Maybe they had a negative experience either with food or with the sport in the past, and they almost like reflect that onto you. And I feel like my biggest tip is like, or at least how I've practiced it, is recognizing they're coming from a place of love. They're not trying to attack you. They're not trying to tear you down. Even if the words they're saying sometimes portray that, it's like they simply want to see their daughter, sister, whatever, healthy and happy, right? And sometimes, even though if you're like, I am healthy and happy right now, if you don't look how they're used to you looking, I understand. I try to put myself in their shoes of like, you haven't seen me like this before, so I understand it might be a little scary for you. Mm-hmm. And I think all you can do is try to educate them the best you can. Like you sound like you have been, like, I have a knowledgeable coach. Here's the plan. Maybe like taking them to a bodybuilding show before yours so they understand like the fun side, the hype side. And
see like all of the people that are also doing the same thing you're doing.
True.
She is like this isolated like person, and they love and care for her so much. And it is extreme. Mm-hmm. Like we tell people that where you do go to an extreme amount of dieting and cardio more than like the average person would do.
Yeah.
And it is very scary. It can be for a family member who's not used to the sport to see you get to that place. Like I remember when I first did my first 2 shows and my mom and dad saw my physique change in a way that they never had before. They saw a level of fatigue they'd never seen me at. It being like my face changing, like things like that. And there were more comments like that because it was the first time that they had ever seen it. Now they get it. They understand it. They've been able to see the sport, how much I love it, that I take it very seriously, that my coach has my back. They love it. They enjoy it. And they understand when I get in certain stages of prep that maybe I need a little bit more space. My emotional energy isn't as great. And sometimes like my parents are like so accommodating to me now that I'm like, okay, stop. You're being too nice.
That's how I am.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you live your life. Don't worry about me. But that's just this is how it can be, where they were scared for me. They didn't understand.
Especially she said it's her first show, right?
Yeah. Now they're like so gung ho about it. So just know that like this is normal and it is coming from a place of love. And you also seem like someone who has you're 30 years old. Like you have a really good head on your shoulders. You have all the backup and support. And you seem to know your body really, really well. So I think it's more of, they need to see it. First and foremost, and how like happy you are, you on stage.
I feel like also seeing your first reverse and go back to a quote unquote like healthy or sustainable physique. I feel like that helps too, because if you're watching someone like chip away and like, you know, there's a date in mind or like a show in mind, you don't know what that entails or what comes after it. Of course, you're going to be like, you're going to get even leaner and you're just going to like disappear, versus like, I think even trying ahead of time to explain to them of like, this is what a reverse diet is. We bring it back up to like this maintenance level. True. Like this is like a peak. And then we kind of slowly come back like to a baseline.
Creating a peak physique.
Yeah.
That
I'm not going to stay there.
That only like a small percentage of people do.
Yeah.
But I don't stay there forever. And eventually I go back to like being myself again, being more normal.
I remember when I started prepping for my first show ever, I was in high school and I was at a new high school and I had a fitness account and I had a normal account, and I blocked everyone I met from my fitness account. Like as soon as I heard their name, I found them on Instagram and I blocked them.
Hey, what's your name? Oh,
yeah. Add you
Sabrina
to the list.
And blocked.
Literally. And I even blocked, this is such like this is the epitome of Kendall introverted scaredness, overthinkingness. I blocked the guy I was going to prom with. He had no clue I had this fitness account. But there was, okay, this is such a tangent, but I promise it's going to be relevant to the answering this question. There was a group of guys at my high school that went to Alpha Elite as well as me, right? So they knew about fitness, Kendall. Everyone else in the school didn't.
And she's like, guys, shh.
It's like a Hannah Montana moment.
I was like, so this is Hannah Montana.
So they're in the locker room. Someone's asking my prom date who he's going to prom with. And this guy pulls up my fitness account and my prom date goes, what account is that? And then he comes to me and he's like, you have this account like that I can't find. Why am I blocked? And we were just friends. We weren't like dating or anything, but I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm working on this goal. I have these goals for myself. Like my plans to do a show next summer or this summer, whatever the timeline was. And he fully did not understand. He was like, why would you want to do that? Like that looks, woman with abs, that's weird. It's like basic guy.
You're like, this is why I blocked you, you turd munch.
He was just going on about it being unhealthy, all of these things. And I literally sat his ass down and I made him watch videos of shows. Like every YouTuber at the time, show day videos, I played them all for him just to try to be like, just so you understand the world and like the fun side, the glitz, the glamour side. Like, of course, seeing someone like dieting really hard or going through that, whether you're a friend or a family member, it's like easy to have opinions about them.
Especially if it's something that you would never do yourself.
Yeah, that too, period. Sorry, you don't want abs. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like different people choose their type of hard. Like I could see somebody that runs like Ironmans.
Oh, for sure.
Literally could not be me.
Yeah.
Like, why do you like that? But someone can look at what I do and say, literally could not be me. Why do you do? And I totally can totally see that because I know how I feel doing the thing that I love. And even though like it's hard and it sucks, but I still continue to choose in, I can also see why someone else would love doing something that I might not ever want to do.
That's a good point of like also explaining your why, because I feel like sometimes when someone sees you doing a process and they don't understand why or what you're trying to get out of it beyond like stepping on a stage or getting a trophy, like even explaining your why to people is sometimes like, first off, like makes them feel included in this little thing you're working on, but also makes them have more empathy for like what you're putting your body through of like, hey, this is to like a big why for me, this prep is like proving to myself that I'm capable of competing and doing it healthily and like having a good relationship with myself. Like that is my mission, this prep. It's not a trophy. It's not a pro card. It's not anything else. And I think like explaining that to someone would make them understand like why I might make the decision to keep going when I am on that unhealthy territory, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And at the end of the day, you can do all of the things, you can, you know, say all the things. And if there's some people that don't support you, they don't support you, and you just,
that's okay.
Oh, well.
Yep.
You can't force
somebody. See you post-show.
You can't force somebody to support you. Like the majority of my family does. And then I have like one or two that I just keep that side of my life to myself.
Yeah.
You know, and if they bring up any of that stuff, I usually try to change the subject because I already know where they're going to take it.
Yep.
And I don't want to go there because you don't get it. my close family that I have in my life and friends, they get it. That's all that I need.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Even as someone super close to me, my dad has never understood the act of competing, and that's okay. He just doesn't come to my shows. Yep. That's fine. He isn't against like fitness as a whole and taking care of your body as a whole. He just doesn't understand taking it to that extent. And it's like, we just don't have those conversations, and that's okay. That's like true. I can still talk to him.
Definitely separate them.
Yeah.
It's more so when someone's like, no, we have to like agree on this. It's like, no, you don't have to.
No, actually it's my own life and my own goals. Thanks so much though.
I will explain it the best that I can.
Yeah.
If you don't want to take it, don't take it.
Yep, that's fine.
All right.
And you have us in our community and social media. Us. If you, just to touch on the friends aspect of her saying she hasn't really have friends in the industry either, like use social media to the best of your ability if that's something you want. If you're like seeking community, there's definitely people, like follow people around the same weeks out as you, like reach out to them, ask how their prep is doing. Like you can still make connections without having people in your immediate life or immediate circle doing the sport.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts. Those are good questions, guys. We have more. You guys can always send in your questions. Email us at knowyourpowerpodcast@gmail.com. We save them all. I personally look through every single one, put it in an outline, organize it into sections. So please send us your questions, your gym confessions, your icks, your advice.
We have a good amount of confessions
we do
too.
Have confessions.
So we got to do one of those soon.
Maybe we should bring Chloe back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I miss Chloe.
I miss Chloe too. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, we love you all so much, and you are more powerful than you think.
Bye.